Hey everyone, today I've got 5 quick and easy Christmas cards to share with you, starting with this one with the cute Christmas trees. The paper pad is from the contemporary Christmas paper pad that I just had on the screen there, and it's from the works. I have pre-cut all my card pieces and I'm now adhering them all together, and I'm just adding some ribbon to the side of the card. And here I'm using some fabric glue on the edge of the ribbon to stop it from fraying. I used a stitch circle die to cut this circle, and the trees are from a set from first edition. I can't remember the name of the die set, so I'll have a look and see if I can find it online and pop it in the description below. I always find with glitter card the adherent doesn't really last. It starts to unstick after a while, so what I did is I used double-sided tape and glue to make sure that it's extra strong. The Merry Christmas sentiment I use here is from a job lot that I found on eBay, so I don't actually know the brand, but you could use any small Merry Christmas stamp to add here if you wanted to replicate this card. And then I just position everything how I want it to look before I glue down my sentiment and my trees. Here I'm using my fine tip glue bottles. They are really great for this because the dies have got loads of little gaps, so I can be really precise and add loads of little dots to make sure that the dies adhere down firmly. Now I thought the card looked good like this, and you could definitely leave it like this, but I decided that because it was a Christmas card, I'd add some gems because Christmas is all about the sparkle. The little gem on my snowflake had fallen off, so I just found some from my stash and reapplied one there. And then I decided the pattern of this paper suited some gems in the centre of each of the little snowflakey type designs. The next card is a little bit of a cop-out because it is pretty much the same as the first card, it's just a different colour scheme. When I started making the first card, I couldn't decide between the two, and I decided I really liked them both, so I did a card in both colours. Because it's the same as the first card, just a different colour, you don't need to see the whole process again. This next card was probably the quickest and the easiest out of the whole bunch. I think the final product is really effective. I just think all the golds make the card stand out, and the paper pad is exceptional. The paper pad is called Fancy Fills from Forever in Time, and the metallics in it are just beautiful. I decided to use a piece of vellum to adhere my die cut sentiment to. I find when you've got a really busy background like this one, you need something just to dull it out so that your sentiment doesn't get lost in the background paper. As well as glue, I decided to use some normal sellotape just to hold my vellum down here. It gives it a more secure hold. This Merry Christmas die and the snowflake dies are amongst the first items that I bought when I started paper crafting. I can't remember where I bought them from or the brand, because I just store them on a metal die sheet and I never kept the original packaging. Again, as with my tree die cuts in my previous cards, my precision glue bottles are excellent for gluing down these sentiments. So how is everybody else doing with Christmas cards? Has anybody else made a start yet? I've also recently been working on my little niece's birthday card, but I can't post it yet because I want to wait until after her birthday, of course, before I share the video. Again, with the snowflake dies, these precision glue bottles really helped. It's so much easier to adhere intricate dies like this when you've got a fine tip. And here's that full fancy paper pad. It has so many gorgeous metallic designs. And here's the first edition Let's Celebrate paper pad that I used to make the die cut trees for my next card. I'm finding that I'm really enjoying using non-traditional Christmas colours this year. Pink is especially turning out to be a favourite for me at the minute. The die again is the same one from the first edition tree set. The other trees in the set are more woodland types, and this one's more of a Christmas tree, which I think suits the cards that I'm doing today rather well. The sentiment is another early purchase, and I can't remember where I got it from. I'm just stamping it at the bottom of my cardstock, and my trees and my banner punch are going to go just above it. I'm using a Memento Dewdrop ink, colour will be in the description. All that's left to do now really is to glue everything down. Again, this was another really quick and easy card to do, but I think it's quite cute. So if you're looking for something quick and simple, if you've got loads of cards to make, then this one's a really good idea. I kept on looking at this one once I'd adhered everything down, and I couldn't decide whether to add any embellishments or not, and I couldn't really decide what I would put on if I did, so I just decided to leave it nice and simple. The pink dewdrop ink that I used really matches the background paper and the banner punch well, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. For this last card I used the contemporary Christmas paper pad from the works again, and I used another sentiment from that set that I bought early on when I first started paper crafting. I didn't have an ink that I would usually use for stamping to match up with the colour of the card that I wanted to use, so I had to use a distress ink, which I find they don't work as well for stamping, but the outcome wasn't too bad. It wasn't as brilliant as I would have liked it to be, but it works well enough for the card. As you can see, I die cut a few snowflakes in white to go on top of the background paper. I think the key with quick and easy cards is to find a really good background paper that you can embellish and add on to. Whilst I love doing distress backgrounds and playing with stencils and all sorts of things like that, sometimes you just don't have the time for that, and you can still make a really effective card quickly. I added some backing card to give my sentiment a little blue border just to make it stand out a little bit more. It's quite a simple but effective sentiment. Next I adhered my snowflakes to my backgrounds. I lifted the edges of each snowflake to give it a 3D effect. Of course, if you're posting it in a normal envelope, this would flatten out, so you might want to do a card box if you were going to send this. Or you could just leave the snowflakes flat. Finally, I added some embellishments to the centre of each snowflake. These gems give it a brilliant finishing touch. And even though the gems are sticky back, I still add some glue to the back of them just to make them extra secure. I hope you enjoyed my 5 quick and easy cards. There'll be more Christmas cards over the coming weeks, so if you did like this, please subscribe and hit the like button.